The 1990s were a really exciting time for video games. Nintendo was the king with its awesome Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES. Everyone had a NES. We loved playing games like Mario and Zelda, but then a new company wanted to play too, Sega. Sega made arcade games, and in 1989 they released the Genesis. Outside North America it was called the Mega Drive. Sega wanted to change how we played games. They knew Nintendo was all about family fun, so Sega went after older kids. Their games were edgier and more grown up. Sega even said Genesis does what Nintendon't. It was like they were saying Nintendo's games are boring. Nintendo knew Sega was a threat, so they got ready to fight back. In 1991, they released the Super Nintendo, or SNES. It had amazing graphics and sound, way better than the NES. The SNES was ready for battle. Sega and Nintendo didn't just fight with games, they fought with commercials too. Everyone was talking about which console was better. Sega's commercials were loud and in your face, showing off how powerful the Genesis was. And of course, there was Sonic the Hedgehog, the coolest, fastest hedgehog ever. Nintendo kept making commercials about family fun, showing off games like Super Mario World and Zelda. These games looked amazing on the SNES. The fight between Sega and Nintendo was everywhere. At school, at home, even at the dinner table. Everyone had an opinion on which console was the best. Sega and Nintendo also tried to outsmart each other with technology. Sega's Genesis had a super-fast processor which made games look great and play smoothly. They even had something called blast processing. It made games even faster and more exciting. But Nintendo had its own secret weapon. The SNES had special tricks that made the graphics look incredible. It had something called Mode 7, which made backgrounds move and spin in ways no one had seen before. Games like F-Zero and Super Mario Kart looked amazing. The fight between Sega and Nintendo changed video games forever. It made both companies work harder to make better games. We got some of the best games ever because of this rivalry. Video games became super popular, not just for some kids, but for everyone. Even today, game companies still learn from what Sega and Nintendo did. They showed us that games need to be fun, look great, and have awesome stories. The 90s were a wild time for video games, and we still feel the impact today.